Hey, what's up, guys? Today we're going to talk about an important topic, in my humble opinion, and that is how to receive love and feel that we are worthy of it. There's a really famous movie, or at least it was famous when I was younger. It's called Perks of Being a Wildflower, that's based on a book by the same name. And in that book, I think the most famous line, or in that movie, the most famous line is this line. And if you ever, were on Tumblr back in like 2012, you probably have seen this a bunch of times. And it said, "We accept the love that we think we deserve." And ever since hearing that, and especially because it was so popular, the GIF of it was so popular on Tumblr, I used to see that all the time. And as I've gotten older, I've only have seen how true that is and have seen the value of really understanding that concept truly more and more for myself. And I realized that some of us have a hard time or difficult time receiving love. And receiving is always preceded by feeling a sense of worthiness, that we are worthy of the love that we are going to receive. And so today I wanted to talk to you about, if you are in that boat, which not everybody is, but if you are in that boat and you find yourself having a difficult time receiving love, what are some steps to take to overcome that? And the strategy that I'm going to share with you in this video is more of a spiritual strategy. And in my opinion, it's one that is not just a one-time fix, it's a permanent fixing. And a lot of videos or a lot of books on this topic may encourage you to do affirmations and things like that, and try to kind of make yourself believe that you are worthy of that love. But what I would like for us to do, what I would like to invite us to do, is to experience that we are worthy of love, experience that we are deserving of receiving love and accepting love into our life. So I'm going to walk you through some spiritual concepts. This may be somewhat a little bit out there for some, but really at home for some others. So just walk with me as we go through this process, because I truly believe if you give it a try and you stick with it, you will see the value of it for yourself. So let's begin. What I wanted to talk about at the beginning of this video is this idea that Einstein said, that we cannot fix a problem on the same level of that problem, or fix it with the same level of thinking that led to the problem in the first place. So how can we overcome that level of thinking? And for me, the idea that we're not worthy of love is an idea that's rooted at the level of form. So if you only learn to go beyond and ascend above that level of form, then we can actually find the solution and the answer that we are seeking. Because I do not believe that the answer to our problem is going to be found on the level of form, which is where the level of the problem is. So when we go above that and go to the level of the spirit, the spiritual plane, we will find the solution and the answer that we are seeking. So there's a line by the one and only Kanye West that was in one of his songs called Runaway back in 2011. I'm giving away my age, I feel like now, but back in 2011, he had this song called Runaway, and there's a famous line in that song where he says, and I always find something wrong. I'll probably cue it right now. And I always find something wrong. To me, that's basically the perfect thing to summarize what the ego says. What the ego, which is kind of like our physical identity, our reality, as we only see it on a physical plane, nothing beyond it. On that level of form purely, we will always find something wrong, just like Kanye says. And it's not until we go above that level that we will find perfection. Because on the level of form, there's only change. So there's no perfection, because perfection actually implies the end of change. Once you receive or achieve the level of perfection, what else is there to change? It's perfect. You don't want to do anything to it. So this world being constant change implies, in my opinion, that perfection can only be accessed at a higher level. So if we think we are a body which I totally understand why it would be so easy to fall into that trap and believe that. But if we believe that we are a body, then we will always find something wrong, because that would be us at the level of form and equating our reality to being one with the level of form and nothing else. So what I want to encourage us to do in this video is to step above that and beyond that and into the level of the spiritual plane, because like I said at the beginning of the video, I believe that our answers will be found at that level. So let's begin and try to walk through this kind of mental process. So if we think we are a body, like Kanye says, we will always find something wrong. But it's only until we go above that plane of form, that level of form, and we go above onto a higher level that we will find perfection. So what I want to encourage us to do is to do some exercises to help us move more and more into that level of thinking. And another thing that I wanted to mention is that the idea of self-love, as it is popular right now in the world, I do believe there's one wrong major flaw with that idea and that concept. And my critique of that, as is taught by most of the world, is that first, it encourages us to equate ourselves with the level of form. And I understand why that may be desirable or tempting or obvious to say, yes, I am this body, or yes, I am this person. But I want us to be a little bit patient and dig a little bit deeper, because I believe there are permanent solutions and permanent answers that we will find if we dig a little bit deeper and not just settle at this level of form and stick with the idea of self-love as the world promotes it. The world says we are a body, and then it encourages us to love that body. I am this body. I love my body. I love my body. I love myself. I love myself. But what if I said that we are not that body, and that we are something much more and much greater than just a body, and when the body passes, we will still be here, just as we were still here before the body was even here. So what I'm trying to implicate and what I'm trying to communicate is that we are not the body, we are beyond the body, and that we are spirit having a physical form, having a human experience, but that we are not the body, we have a body. And a mental process and a mental thought process that I want to encourage you to do right now is, if your body was laying here right now, lifeless, and you were kind of outside of it, looking at it, there's not this sense of, oh, that's me, because you feel that what is you is here and that body is there. And I know a lot of people who have had near-death experience would say that they saw the body just laying there and that they were separate from it and just there, right? So it's like, how could it be that they are the body, but they're now seeing the body and they know that they're still fine, they're still safe, but the body is just laying there. So the body, when it's lifeless and just laying there, we may look at that and be like, oh, that's not me. So you may argue with that and say, well, that is me. But also I want to encourage you to think about how your body has changed thousands of times throughout your life. So think about that. When you were at age 7, does your body at all look the way it did when you were 7? Now, if you are 8 years old and you're watching this, then you're like, yes, it looks pretty much the same. But if you are 50 years old or 25 years old or 30 years old, you will look back at a picture of yourself when you were 7 years old and your body looks nothing like the way it does now. And so you have grown, you have changed, your body has changed, the cells within which have completely changed since you were a child. But you still feel like there is a sense of continuity even though your body has entirely changed. So what does that say? Who are you? Or rather, maybe I should say, what are you? Because your body has completely shifted, but you still feel like you are you. So maybe you are the consciousness that in a sense possesses the body and has the body as like a tool, but you are not the body. So it's almost like you have a body, but you are not a body. It's almost like you have a body as a tool outside of you, not you, a tool that you possess that is in your arsenal that you can use for multiple purposes. One of which, the most important which to me honestly the only purpose of the body is that it is a communication device for us, just like a phone would be, while we are here in this material plane, thinking that we are experiencing this human existence, which later I will allude to why I said thinking that we're having this human experience, because on a deeper spiritual level and on a high level of understanding when it comes to spirituality, you will realize that this life is actually but a dream. It's an illusion, you can say. And a lot of traditions, a lot of spiritual traditions throughout time, like Hinduism and the path that I personally follow, like A Course in Miracles, say that this life is a dream. And the Hindu tradition used to refer to it as the Maya, or does refer to it as the Maya, the illusion of life. I like the interpretation of dream, saying that this is a dream, because it makes a lot of things make sense almost instantaneously when I at least think about it and have given it some thought over time. So what we have to do is first change how we see ourselves. And how we see ourselves for the most of our lives has been that we see ourselves as the body, we see ourselves as the personality, we see ourselves as this identity, this personal identity, and we call that I, and then we go about our lives, and that's who I am. But what if we are beyond that? What if we are more than that? And I want to encourage you to kind of think about how earlier we talked about how even without the body, you can still have a sense of I. Even without that, you can still have a sense of identity or an awareness, a consciousness. So what does that imply? It implies that you are not just a body, you are beyond the body, and that you are the consciousness that experiences the body, and you are the awareness that dwells within the body and has the body and encompasses the body. So you are not the form, you are the awareness that is aware of the form and is experiencing that. So for most of us, we go through life, we think that we are this body and that this body will get old and pass away, and that's the end of that. Or if you are more of a spiritual belief, you believe that then after this life is done, you may go to heaven and you may pass on to the next life, the afterlife. Some people may believe that you will come back and do this life again. Some people may believe that you will go to heaven or ascend. And regardless of which school of thought you subscribe to, most of us can agree that we believe, for the most part, that we are this body going through this human life, and then we pass away, and then we either go back to nothingness from which we came from, or we ascend to another life, whether that be in heaven or on earth, another reincarnation, or going to heaven. Whichever one of those you subscribe to is not the point right now. The point is that most of us believe that we are this body and that's who we are and that's what it is, and that's what this life is. But I want to encourage us and invite us to experience ourselves as something beyond that. Because going back to the topic of this video, I believe that once we go beyond that, the fact that we are worthy of love and that we are deserving of love and that we are already receiving immense amounts of love from our Creator will become permanently obvious. And then there's no more convincing that you need to do, because you're no longer identifying with the level of form. So that's the experience that I want to invite us to. So first, we have to believe that we are not just this body. And a really good book on that is actually a book called The Untethered Soul by Michael A. Singer, which the reason I'm recommending that book is because in that book, there's a series of questions that he asks that starts with, who am I? And the person responds back with, I am person, named this, I do this job, X, Y, and Z. And he keeps on digging and he keeps asking that question of, who am I? Who am I? Who am I? Or in that context, he's saying, who are you? Who are you? Who are you? And basically, I believe that's an exercise by a very famous Hindu guru named Ramana Maharshi. But regardless of the source of that, this is an exercise that has been encouraged in many traditions around the world of asking, who am I? Who are you? over and over and over again until you go deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper and realize that you are spirit, still remaining as God created you, and that you will forever be as God has created you. So believing that is one thing. Believing that you are spirit, not necessarily within this body. I like to think of it as this body is within our spirit, because our spirit is not actually contained within the body. It actually expands throughout the whole universe, throughout everything there is. I truly believe that, but it has this body. It uses it like a cell phone. Like, I have a phone, but I am not my phone. But my phone gives me abilities and capabilities that I didn't have before. Like, I can call my grandma in Canada with this phone, right? So it gives me this capability to do something that I couldn't do before, which is, in this context of the phone, it gives me the ability to communicate. And I believe the body gives our spirit the ability to communicate and experience this physical reality, this physical life, which on a very much deeper level is only a dream. Really, it's an illusion. But regardless of that, that's a topic for another day. A great book on that, which is my spiritual path, is A Course in Miracles. But beware, it's a very potent and deep book, and it's very tough to digest at first because it's a complete paradigm shift. It's a complete changing and shifting of your mind. But it's the most important book that I have ever read in my life. Regardless of that, I want to encourage you to first believe that. Take it just on word, just on faith, but then lead yourself or have yourself be led into an experience of that reality, because that's where the permanent shifting will actually come from. It's not going to just be on the level of thought, on the level of form. It's going to be on the level of experience. It's going to be on that referential experiential knowledge that you will have true, lasting, forever transformation, because one glimpse of that reality will forever shift your life, shift your mind. And a lot of people who have done psychedelics, for example, will report back that just one glimpse into a reality beyond the life of form, one glimpse into realizing that you are not the body and you are free, and that you are spirit, having or experiencing or dreaming this human experience, one glimpse into that is enough to forever shift permanently the foundation of your life. And I truly believe that when Jesus was talking about building your life on a foundation of sand versus a foundation of rock, he was talking about building your life, building your sense of identity on the foundation that is unchanging. And the unchanging paradigm, or the reality of unchangingness, is the reality of spirit. So have your identity be rooted in spirit, not in form. The exterior, which will forever and always change, and the only reality on that level will be constant change. So build your life, build your identity on a foundation much more deeper and much more permanent than that, which would be the foundation of spirit. But nonetheless, first believe that you are that. Then we're going to try to experience that. So what I want to encourage you to do is to first pray. And by pray, I mean just ask. Ask God, ask the universe, ask source, ask the higher power. And even if you don't believe in that right now, it's kind of like gravity. Like, even if you don't believe in gravity, you can still have faith in gravity, and then you will see experientially the truth of it for yourself, right? And with God, with higher power, the existence of it, it will be proved to you as you put your faith in it. And so what I am encouraging you to do is to ask. Ask to be shown, ask to be led into this experience of wholeness, this experience of unity, and this experience of oneness. That's the best word that I can think of describing it. Ask to be led into this experience of realizing who you truly are beyond this body. Ask God, ask the higher power, because this universe functions on the level of consent and free will. You have to use your free will. So just ask God to show you who you truly are, because he will not just barge in without your consent, without your permission, without your free will. And so you have to ask. And then once you ask, you put yourself in a receptive posture to receive. So first ask. Ask to be led into this experience. Ask to be shown differently from what you've known so far, thus far in your life. So when you do that, you open the door. And the way you sit and receive the answer to that which you have just asked for is through meditation. I have a video that I just made recently. I will link it up there. It's called How to Grow Spiritually, 9 Keys to Spiritual Growth. Check that video out, because the step 1 in that is meditation. The step 2 is prayer. I probably should have reversed those, but regardless of that, these 2 are so powerful. And in that video, I talk about how you can start implementing them. But for the sake of this video, just ask first to be shown that deeper experience, and then meditate. And not just meditate once, meditate for 4 months, 5 months, 6 months. The time of it may differ. But one day, and don't necessarily do it to have this experience, do it because meditation will just improve every area of your life regardless. But one day you will have this experience where you will be led into a dimension beyond this world, but a dimension that is a lot more real. And the experience will feel like homecoming, like it's going back to a place you've always known, but somehow you're forgotten. So now you're returning to it, and you're returning home. You're returning to God, to Source, to that which you came from, and that which you are one with still, but you are, in a sense, dreaming and perceiving that you are not, and that you have left, and that you are alone and separate from God. But you will return back to God and experience that through meditation, through prayer. These 2 together will bring about that experience. And once you glimpse that experience, once you glimpse into that reality, into that dimension, there's no going back from that, because now your whole reality has shifted. Now you've seen what is actually there. It's kind of like if there was a door in your house and you never looked what's past that door, you would never know what is past that door. But once you see it, like, you now know, whatever it may be, you just now know what is beyond that door, what is past that door. So now that you've glimpsed into that, you cannot go back necessarily to unknowing, to not knowing what is there. And so your foundation, your basis of identity will shift ever since after that. And so what is to follow is that you will become more and more deep-rooted in spirit as your sense of identity. And once you get to that point, going full circle to the whole purpose of this video, which is, how do you feel that you are worthy of love? How do you receive love? How do you know that you deserve love? Those things will become self-evident once you have this experience. Once you realize what you are and who you are and where you are as God created you, you will have an experience of true love, the likes of which will be very hard to find in the world. It's a love that is beyond all understanding. It's a love that is beyond our grasp. And it's a love that will truly fulfill. It's the love that has given birth to us. It's the love that has created us. It's the love that has sustained us. And once you experience that, you know, like, duh, I am worthy of love. Duh, I can receive love, because all love that I will receive in this world will only be a reflection, and a dim reflection. Even the greatest love will be still a dim reflection compared to that real thing, the true love of God. It will be a dim reflection, but nonetheless, it will be a reflection of that love. And it will be only natural to receive love. It will be only natural to experience love. It will be only natural to be love. And so once you experience that dimension, that paradigm, you will know that you are deserving of love. You will know that you are worthy just as you are. You will know that you are not this body, you are free, but now you are actually free to appreciate the body as it is. A lot of times, like I said, in that self-love, as the world promotes it, it's like, I love my body, I love my body, I love my body. Yes, but you're constantly making yourself equal to the body, which you will find always something wrong on that level of form. But when your identity shifts to a level of formless, then you will actually care less about the level of form, and you are actually free to appreciate it versus being attached to it. And then you're actually free to actually love it because you're not so wrapped up with it. Just like I appreciate my phone. I appreciate the capabilities it gives me. You will appreciate the body the same way. It's like I appreciate the body and what it helps me do, what it gives me capabilities to do. And so your identity shifting will also make it very easy to love the body, to appreciate the body, and to appreciate the whole of who you are, because the whole of who you are will now be equal to love, and you will know who you are. And I know that right now it may seem very airy-fairy, and that the solution to this problem of how to feel worthy of love, how to receive love, it may be very airy-fairy, may seem very roundabout to go about fixing this solution. But what I promise to you at the beginning of this video is that I want to provide you with a permanent solution, not a temporary fix, not a band-aid. And this permanent shifting, this permanent realization, this will shift your reality. This will change your life. And this is what I wanted to provide for you and bring for you and invite you to experience for yourself. Because ultimately, you can watch all the YouTube videos in the world, but until you put this into experience, and that's true for all spiritual concepts, it's that you have to do it. The thing about spiritual things is that you just have to do it. You just have to practice it. You just have to put it into practice and see, and then you will be reaffirmed that your faith was not in vain. So trust this process, do it for yourself, and see in action how it will lead you to greater understanding and realizations about yourself and about life, and that the question of whether or not I am loved will become meaningless. And your identity has permanently shifted into one which, that quote from Perks of Being a Wildflower, we only accept the love that we deserve. Now it's like, I know what I deserve because I now know who I am, and I know how much love I have already received and how much love I deserve. So I hope that you put this into practice and see the benefits of it for yourself. Thank you for watching this video. If you want to work one-on-one with me, I actually coach people on all topics that I talked about in this video and go personally step by step through the process, because each person is unique and different and their needs are different, and the best way to meet those needs is to sit down one-on-one and have a conversation and see how I can best help you become the highest and greatest expression that you are created to be. So thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe to my channel, like this video so that more people can see it, and be sure to come back for more videos on my channel. Thank you. Again, my name is PJ, and I hope to see you next time.